Hi. I don't know if I'm live, so I'm going to check. And as usual, perfect timing. Just as I come on live, I can hear my children arguing, which is lovely. It's all right, they're not alone. My husband is there. But it's just a little bit distracting. Yes, I'm live. I'm here. Okay. Hello and welcome to my free training that is running in two places live at the moment. One is in my free group, the Mission-Led Content Revolution with Lisa Barry, and one is on YouTube. I'm streaming simultaneously on YouTube. Now, the reason I'm doing that is part of my whole mission that I actually know I have clients who I've told to delete social media at the moment because they're on holiday, and I still want them to be able to access it if they want to access me talking about this shit. So the idea is that you don't have to fall into a social media rabbit hole to find this. You can check out YouTube, although YouTube's got its own rabbit hole in all fairness. So there is that element. What I will do is during this training, I will also be, after I finish this, I will be putting it in the guide section. So the guide section of my free group will be a hub for this information. It is not going anywhere. I am not going to be doing the scarcity thing of you must watch this in so long or it will disappear. I'm not saying I won't in the future because I'll need to take it for some reason, but this comes back to my philosophy of I don't want to add any more pressure on anybody. I know that people's lives, I know that my life feels quite exhausting and tiring, and the whole pressure of things that are outside of our control and outside of our bubbles that we can create for ourselves. Some things are just exhausting right now. Let's to put it mildly. So I'm not going to put any pressure on anybody else. Hi, Remy. Hi, Tracy. And hi, Sarah. Those people who are watching live or actually watching at all, please let me know. You have to click a thing that it's in the comment. It's in the section above that says that you allow StreamYard, come doing this through StreamYard, to use your name. So I can see there's a Facebook user that says, hi, Lisa. There's another one that says, hello from, and I can't actually see. Here we go. This is what it says hello from Barry. Oh, hello from Barry Island Beach. Oh, is that Charmaine? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so this is the change the way you think and feel about social media free training that I have on this week. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So technically it's 5 days. Technically, there's a task every day. You could call it a challenge, but I put a weekend in the middle, so no one could call it a 5-day challenge. So it is not a 5-day challenge. Erin is in Barry, so it might be Erin. Amazing. Okay, so first of all, when I do these lives, I'm going to be talking first and talking about the task. Now, the task is there. It's underneath me. Block and unfollow people. I'm going to go into that in a little more detail in a moment. But I want to first explain on this first live why I'm calling these tasks unexpected. Erin is on Barry Island Beach. You're on Barry Island Beach listening to Lisa Barry. It's perfect, Erin. There she is. She's on Barry Island Beach. Fantastic. And I'm very glad that you made it. Laura, I was trying to say there. Laura made it. Yes, fantastic. All the way from Vietnam. So we've got Vietnam, Barry Island Beach. Perfect. So the reason these tasks are unexpected is because I'm a content marketing coach. I talk about courageous visibility. I talk about showing the fuck up. I talk about getting out there and putting yourself into the world. I talk about when you speak, you are making a decision about who you want to be and how you want to be seen, what impact you want to make in this world. And I talk about those things, but I'm going to talk about some different stuff this week. So those of you who have followed me for a while, those of you who have done my free trainings in the past, because I've run 5-day challenges, those of you who want content marketing tasks like, write this piece of copy, here's some ideas for things you can write. I've got loads of them. I've got loads of free content around that. Check out my free training that is already in the guide section of my free group. The best one would be the 7 days of mission-led content, which I've got things like templates, how to I think one of them is called vomit content ideas. So that's if you're short of content ideas, check that out. This week is going to be different. I'm going to be saying things that personally, I've not seen other content marketing coaches talking about enough. And I don't see it enough in all of my years, like my decade now, my last 10 years of working with in online marketing. I've not seen people's well-being put at the center of strategy. And it's fucking ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous because we are the ones doing it. If you're working with an agency and they're doing it for you and you can sit back and put your feet up and say, well, I don't need to worry about that because someone else is doing it, that's fine. But if you are the center of your strategy, if you're the one that has to get up and put that content out in the world, if you're the one that has to schedule the time, that has to know what to say, that has to do that inner work to get the confidence to put it out there, then you need to be the center of your strategy, not what someone else tells you to do. Because I'm telling you now, preach it, Lisa. I really could. I'm so on a mission with this, really and truly, right now. When we as business owners follow someone else's strategy word for word, I'm not saying it doesn't work, and I'm not saying those strategies are ineffective, rubbish, shit. I'm not criticizing anybody else's strategy at all, or anybody. That's not what this is about. But what this is about I want people to listen to what they need, to what will work for them. And you know what? I'd love to. It would be amazing if I could say, "Hey, there's an easy answer. Just do these steps, and it will work for everyone." It doesn't. There is no easy answer that just works for everyone. Believe me, I know. I have been in this long enough to know that for those business owners that are doing this shit on their own, there is no easy strategy that works for everybody. I should be watching my language. It's the holidays, isn't it? And it's 12 o'clock. I can see Laura says she's got an earbud in the bath, and in the bath, and in the bath, or in the bath, the kids are in the bath. I may have to put a warning on this from tomorrow that says, make sure you're wearing headphones if the kids are around, and if you don't like swearing in front of your kids. My kids have heard it a few times, so less of a worry about them. But other people might have more sensitive children's ears than mine. So that's why these tasks are unexpected. Now, that doesn't mean for some people, like I've still been this isn't like a new thing for me. Those that know me, are in my program will know that the concept of self-care, the concept of being mindful, curious, and there's another word that I say with that. Conscious, curious, and mindful. That's what I say. What do I say? I should know what I say. Being conscious, curious, and mindful about how we approach content marketing, how we approach our business as a whole entity, in a whole holistic way. We need to be so radically self-aware, because otherwise we find ourselves in these holes, and we don't ever. There's so many moving parts to why we're feeling like shit, and we can't figure that out. And yet at the same time, we have to be smiling online because we have to show we're successful so that other people will buy into us. And it's just excruciatingly bullshit. Excruciating bullshit, not excruciatingly bullshit. Yeah, you could use both. My kid is used to you swearing. I think she secretly likes it. And Laura knew to put earbuds in, and Teresa had earbuds in as well. So we've got people are prepared when they listen to me. That's good. I still should put a little health warning out, I think, for tomorrow, because this stuff really does get to me now, and it's got to me because particularly recently, because I felt it. And I can remember when I came up with this idea, I was sitting in a bubble bath, a cold bubble bath. It was really hot. And it was like, what? I knew I was going to do some free training because this week I'm launching my program, my group coaching program, the MLC for social media. So I knew I was going to do some free training. I knew I was going to do it in the free group because my focus was on putting more energy into that space. And I was like, what do I need? What does my ideal client need? And what makes me different? So those were the questions that I came down to. And it's like, what makes me different is that I don't push that there's one way of doing something. And I want to put my ideal clients at the center of my clients at the center of their strategy. And the other thing is that what do my ideal clients need right now? Well, they need the same thing I do. Fucking rest. Some rest from the stress and the uncertainty and the lost dreams and the reality of the last 18 months is weighing on our shoulders. And there is, no matter where you stand on any of those divides, the divides themselves are absolutely heartbreaking. And I have found myself really struggling with social at certain points. Last summer was a big point for me, where I just found social media itself made me very anxious. I was very COVID anxious at that point. I've had different anxiety recently, but at that point it was COVID anxiety. And seeing people post pictures of them going like smiling together just made me literally feel like I was in a fight or flight situation. I could feel my heartbeat faster. I could feel my blood pressure rise. My face went red, like, you could feel the blood pumping, because I felt scared just seeing people together, because I was suffering with COVID anxiety. And I was very, very nervous around everything. The concept of being around people scared me to death. So even seeing it scared me to death. And I knew, seeing all that happening online, and while at the same time telling people, be visible online, there was real cognitive dissonance, massive constant cognitive dissonance in that. And that was hard to deal with, and I had to find a way around. So through the journey that I've been on and that I'm still going through, because Nicola, your post, I can't quite see it all. It just says, I saw a post on Instagram from social media that suggested. I'd love to know what that was. Emma says, I totally agree. It's the whole puzzle. Ember doesn't understand yet, but Gary swears, so this will be interesting future. And Laura's waiting for the day her 4-year-old says boil her piss. The divide is killing Teresa too. It's awful. And I just wanted to be an antidote to all the stuff that's going on, and say, we are business owners. We keep going. We keep putting one foot in front of the other, because we're paying the bills. I'm the only earner in my household. I'm paying the bills. I'm looking after my family. Even when I wasn't the only earner, my money mattered. What I earned mattered. So you keep showing up and you keep going forward and you keep doing it. And I'm not saying that people who are not self-employed they have different challenges, because they have to rely on other people, which potentially way worse. But we have to find that place inside of us that allows us to ground in what's important to us in this moment. What do we need to do in this moment? And if we are going to show up on social media, so I'm going to come to this point now, if we are going to show up on social media and we are going to be courageously visible. Now, let me tell you now, courageously visible means something different to me or to you. Last summer, courageously visible just meant being there at all. Being there at all. Every single situation is different. And you are different. So when you hear me talk about courageous visibility, know that your courage is your courage, and nobody is there to judge that and say, this is what courageous visibility looks like. Courageous visibility looks like making the right decision for you and still pushing your business, still taking next steps in your business. Now, there have been times in my life where courageous visibility absolutely meant just spewing myself everywhere. I had the energy. I was in that sort of, somebody I know, and I can't remember who it was, but talks about this warrior energy. I can't remember who it was. I know my clients know, so please tell me who. I just can't get names on the tip of my tongue. The warrior energy, where you're like, yeah, no, I'm on a mission. I've got to tell people this shit. And it's kind of somebody mentioned in the comments this morning on the post about blocking people, about how it's important people put confrontational content, because then you can tell who you align with. But I'm not. Confrontational content is fine if that's the place you're in and who you want to be in that moment, but not everybody. Emma says she's feeling that warrior energy at the moment, and I felt that, and I know what that feels like. So this is not about saying that you've got to take a step back or that you've got to take a step forward. It is about asking you to listen to yourself. And it's not even about different people, it's about different moments. So I've had moments where I've had that warrior energy, and I've had moments where I've needed to reflect and process and retreat. And it's a cycle. And so it isn't about what's right and wrong. It's about, like, you own your business. Your gut instinct will take you to exactly where you need to be. There is no right and wrong. So that is a core messaging. Now, obviously, if we can write better copy, if we can store our content, if we have, simple systems in place, we can make the process of showing up easier. So it's not like starting from scratch all the time. It's not, puts things like funnels and things like that can really, really help. But it's about knowing what your next steps are in the moment that you're in. I've got literally, some cold tea. I should have prepared myself better. I've just come off call. So, quick note that throughout this week, my program is open. If you want to chat to me about it, just message me. The program it's coaching. So it's 12 months access to coaching, 12 months access to new tutorials, new training every week, and 12 months access to unlimited feedback on your content. So you can put your content into the group, and me and my team of copywriters are there copywriters and copy editors are there to support you to improve your content. So anything you do put out there, you're getting that. You're learning how to curate and nurture your content so that it works them more effectively. Because if you're going to put stuff out there, you may as well make it as effective as possible, right? If you're putting the energy to it. So the coaching, tutorials and feedback is the main aspect of the MLC for social media. The course is an 8-week course that you get lifetime access to, and we just roll the course throughout those 12 months, and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. But you get access to the actual materials for life. The bit that is 12 months is the coaching, tutorials and the feedback. Just let me know if you want to know any more information about that. We close doors on the 13th, and I have 9 places left, just 9 places left. So let me get on with the actual content. I've checked that I'm live, so let me just go to my note sheet. The actual content of why blocking and unfollowing people is so important in this process. And I'm going to take it a step further. Lots of people said, I already do that. I do that. It's not a problem for me. I'm always doing, I do that every day. I do it in my sleep. And that's fab. But there's always another level we can go. There's always another step that we can take. So the first thing is lots of people say they block and unfollow people because, I'm just going to show this. Yay, Laura took the first place on the MLC for social media course. Yay. Blocking and follow people can be easy if they're arseholes. So if it's an arsehole, it's like, I don't want you in my space. I block you. I can, in some cases, report if it's, somebody who's been a real, genuine troll or an arse online. That's easy, right? We can do that. But there are some that are more difficult. So what if you have somebody that makes you just feel that sense of imposter syndrome? You get that comparativitis, but you might feel like, I can't really have them out of my space. I feel I shouldn't do that because they might be your friend. Maybe they're your friend. Like, seriously, maybe they're your friend. I have actually unfollowed friends. Like, that sounds awful. I've told them, I've actually reached out and said, I've unfollowed you, and I want you to know that it's because I like people who are on doing the same sort of thing as me. And I've said, look, you are writing amazing copy, and I love you and I love what you do. But when I'm seeing that on my timeline, it's triggering imposter syndrome in me, and it's triggering comparativitis. And I think you're amazing, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing. But I just need to protect my own energy. And I also don't want to feel like I'm like, if I've got an idea of something and I see you posting it, I don't want to feel like I'm good there. I can't post that because they've posted it. The amount of people that say the same thing to me, like, I can't post that because somebody else has already said it better. Nobody can say it better than you because you say it your way. So if there's somebody on your feed that is saying something that's so similar to you, or something that you want to say, but when you see it, you feel unconfident about sharing what you want to share, you don't need to block them. You can unfollow them. You can unfollow them, and that means that they don't know about it. And remember, it's about you, not them. In that instance, it's not about them being an arse. It's not about that. It's about you and what you need. So that's really that's a really interesting thing to think about. Another one to think about is if you find yourself feeling angry or anxious, like, we need to create these spaces where it feels good to be in. So just let them go. Block them, and follow them, and friend them. You choose what to do depending on your relationship with them. If somebody might be posting stuff that might trigger old stories or old trauma or something, and the amount of times people feel obligated, the word should comes up again and again and again and again. And it's like, there's no should about this. This is about your space and you creating that for yourself. I have recently, and here's another, what else can you do? Groups. Are you in groups that actually the energy is wrong for you? Are you receiving emails? Let's take this off social media. Are you receiving emails that just piss you off? Are you, I know we're talking about social media, but taking it that other step, it's like, how else in your life, if you feel you've nailed social media, this is, how else even in real life? I met a beautiful, like Greenham Common feminist last week, like one of the founding members of Greenham Common, and she happens to be a Buddhist, and also happens to be my new hero, completely my new hero. If I could follow her on social media, I would, but she's not there. And she was saying that a principle in Buddhism is, and I'm like, apologies to any Buddhists out there, I'm obviously going to say this wrong or not quite get this because I'm translating it from somebody else and I've heard it once, but it just really resonated with me. This concept of Sangha, I think it's called, where you create a community, the importance of community around you. You create the conditions to succeed. And that really, really resonated with me because of that condition to succeed. Our conditions to succeed are very often based on the people that we surround ourselves with. And, you know, there's all that stuff from, like, you know, when you're working on money blocks. I saw a video the other day where someone says, I got rid of all of my friends who was earning less than like 100 queen. I'm not, that's what you want to do, then crack on, but you know, not my energy, put it that way. But it is that, like, who do you want to surround yourself with? Who is going to lift you up? Who is going to inspire and support you? Who is putting content out there that makes you feel like you want to be part of it? Like, create that community. And the great thing about social media is you can. So once you've done the unblocking and the unfollowing people, once you've looked at groups, once you've looked at your emails, once you've looked at your life, like, I know it sounds like once you've done all of that, like, that's an easy thing to do. Then simple, right? Then you can start thinking about what you do want. Like, it's so, well, you know, when you say what you don't want, what you do want, it's so much easier. Our brains tend to go to what we don't want first. So your feed might be full of, you might flick through and see 10 things that you love, but one thing that pisses you off, and that one thing that pisses you off will stay with you all day. And that is irritating, right? Now, there are some people that are not like this. They've risen above that or whatever, and they can move forward. But most of the people, most people I know, stuff sticks, you know, the shit stuff stinks. stinks and sticks was what I was going for, but it also stinks. And so we need to make sure that we are engage. So if you engage on something positive, like whatever you engage on social media, that it's like law of attraction in action, the algorithms. So when you engage with stuff on social media, the stuff that you engage with, you'll see more of that. So the more stuff you engage with that you like, so if you see stuff that you like, but you're being passive, because sometimes we are passive, often, most of the time, we are passive users of social media. The amount of times people worry about not getting engagement, and then they say that they don't actually be engaging someone enough. They're not, they're not engaged. They're saying they're not getting this engagement, but they're not doing any engagement, and they think that their ideal client doesn't engage. And it's like, well, you don't need to worry about engagement then. But if you're going engagement, it can be a very powerful tool for you to, number one, build relationships, but also to curate that feed that gives you something that is more filled with that sort of content. So Facebook, if you're commenting on certain content, Facebook will give you more of that content. So, and if you're constantly unfollowing and blocking certain people, Facebook will keep those people away from you. It is a curated platform that is designed, and all social media is, and Google is, and all of it is designed to give you what you want. And in some cases, this can be dangerous because it can actually deepen that divide, because you only see what you want and what you want to see. But as business owners, putting our well-being at the center of our service, our strategy, it is vital. So it's not just about what you don't want, the blocking and unfollow, that's an easy place to start, but then start thinking about what you do want. Now, I'm going to talk about what this means in like mentally on a personal development state in a second, but I'm just going to look at some of these comments. Laura says, because I work with trauma and parenting, there is so much controversy and hurt. It can feel like walking into X-Files, especially when saying things I don't want people to that things people don't want to hear of. Yes, I I completely understand that. I know I work with a lot of people that are in your industry, soon to be working with you very closely, Laura. And I know that is, your parenting is like when people bring kids into stuff, then, emotions run really high. So you've got to find that sweet spot for you. And I look forward to helping you with that. Emma, feeling that warrior energy, but not confrontational. So that's really interesting, is finding that sweet spot for you. Emma also says that you did a poll on LinkedIn about personal versus business. Roughly 80% said sharing personal was okay, but I keep seeing apologies for sharing personal. That's terrible on LinkedIn, isn't it? It's the LinkedIn police really getting there. That's often true. That there's another good point, really good point there, that our fear of trolls or our fear of negative comments or all of our fears are often worse than the reality. So we kind of create these massive stories in our head, and actually the reality is very different. So fear of negativity and fear of trolls, it's like, what if somebody said that, what would I do? And one of the things that I say with that is, well, you say, okay, if somebody does say this doesn't belong on LinkedIn and becomes all LinkedIn police, decide before, if somebody's going to say that, what you will do. And then when you're in the moment and you feel that sort of pang of, oh, somebody hates me, you can just take those steps that you planned when you were calm and deal with it. Rather than doing it from that emotional perspective. Sarah, I do that a lot. Stop myself from posting because I've seen something similar that day. So part of this, right, this is really important. Part of this is not just doing it now and saying, okay, well, Lisa set me a task to block and unfollow people today, but it's doing it continuously. This week, over the last couple of weeks, I've blocked an old coach who I had an awful lot to thank for in the past, but I've decided now I need to let go. I've left a paid membership group that I paid to be in, but I've just quietly walked out the door because it is not in alignment with me, and seeing the content there is distressing. It's not distressing. Yeah, at some points, distressing. And even though I've got that thing of I should be in there because I paid for it. I'm not gonna. I've been in it long enough to know I've taken what I needed from it. So I'm not going to kick up a fuss about refunds or anything. No way, not even close. I wouldn't even dream of it. But I was staying in there because I felt I should. and I don't need it anymore, and I don't need to be there, and there's no shoulds about it. I don't want to be there. I'm going. But some of this stuff you may know immediately. You may see that immediately, like, oh, I know who I want. I know somebody who I want to get rid of right now. But other things, it comes up gradually. So it's about having that constant radical awareness and tuning back in and being conscious, curious, and mindful about the process and how it makes you feel. So this is an attitude to take, not just a one-day task, an attitude that you are committed to creating that community space that you want to be in. Laura, unfollowed my sister. She was not being helpful, and she can't see her baby sister as a business owner. Love her, but didn't need her helpful comments. I mean, that says a lot. Another perfect example of how we can keep people in our spaces because we feel we should. You don't have to do anything. Emma says groups are a good one. There's one I need to come out of because it's all clickbait type posts. So brilliant. Off you go then, Emma. Well, maybe when I finish talking, there's a brilliant idea. So it doesn't matter, like, what step can you take again today, but also taking that like immediate step when you see it. So you don't keep, like, sometimes I put things off. I'm very good at putting things off because I don't feel I have the emotional bandwidth to deal with it in that moment. So I think I'm just going to scroll. It's easy just to scroll past, but then it comes up again and again and again and again and again until I just feel ground down by the shit. So just leave and continue with your life. Teresa, exactly what I need. I want fun and positivity and life stories and learning things in my feed. So comment on these things, find those people, nurture those relationships, and you will see more and more and more of them. Nicola, I've been receiving emails from someone who is saying that I must continue posting whilst on holiday, otherwise you'll undo all the great algorithm work you've created, posting and engaging. Oh, I know what I'd say to that person. I have to take a break and rest from social media when I'm off next week because I need to give my brain a rest. Do you know what? I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow, Nicola. So first of all, unfollow those emails, unsubscribe from those emails. But tomorrow, the topic is going to be about times when we need to stop. Unexpected thing you get from a social media coach, when to stop. I've been thinking about walking out of a paid membership too. Obviously, that's not mine, Teresa. I've been hearing this left, right, and centre. I'm worried to step back. And this is the thing. People have that fear. And I just want you to know that you are in control. There is some truth in these comments. There's some truth in it. But if we make informed decisions, it's like, what's more important? It's understanding. So this is where my teaching comes in, because I want to tell people and inform people. And there's an element of teaching, like, I don't teach algorithms because no fucker can teach algorithms. I don't care what they say. Nobody can teach because unless you are Facebook, you can't teach algorithms because they change all the time. They roll things out, not just Facebook, all of them. They roll things out and it's different for every bloody person anyway. And every single post has about 100 different relevancies, thousands of different relevancy scores for different people. It's so complex and there's so many moving parts to things like that. It's just, bullshit, anyone who says they know it inside out. But there are certain universal truths of algorithm and the way that they work. And that is definitely an element of it. There's things where I want to teach people, like, yeah, this is roughly how it works. So this is the concept of it. And then by knowing that, you decide what's more important. Is it more important to feed that algorithm on holiday, or is it more important that you rest? Teresa's not leaving my paid membership. That's very good. And Laura's got kid bedtime calls. I'm always here for you, Laura. Okay. So the one thing that I want to say about this, that one of my shoulds against doing this, I've felt. So one of the things that I hate about social media, right, is that it does create these divisions because we connect with people who think the same as us, which on the surface is amazing. But then you go that extra layer and it's like, this is where stuff like QAnon has grown from, because then Facebook suggests these other people and these other groups, and you get these conglomerates. You get these groups of people, let's just go with the word group. You get these groups of people that become so entrenched, and because they don't see anything else but what they believe. I know that, like, when the election happened, or when Brexit happened in this country, I'm like, what? How did that happen? Nope. Why would anyone do that? All of my friends voted Labour. And it's like, yes, because that's all I'm bloody seeing. Like, I'm out of touch with the real world. So again, this is informed decision making. We are business owners. And so for our business to keep going, to keep feeding us, to keep nurturing us, to keep allowing us to serve and give our mission, then it is important to nurture a space that allows us to do that. But we do it fully informed. We understand that we cannot shut the world out, and we cannot shut negative emotions out. This is not about not feeling. This is not about not allowing ourselves to be human. All emotions are good. We don't want to, we're not, this is not like what toxic positivity, where I say, you know, anything that makes you feel bad, just get rid of it because you want to feel good all the time. We're never going to feel good all the time. We're people, we're humans. That's not possible. It's not even what we want to attain to, because if we feel good all the time, we have no concept of what feels good, right? We need to feel the whole spectrum of emotions, because that's what it means to be human. So this is not about blocking out emotions, and this is not about not dealing with shit and not dealing with the shit in the outside world. But what this is about making informed decisions about the spaces that we want to show up and promote our business, the spaces where we want to connect to our ideal client. So this is very specific for business owners who are using social media to grow your business. You do not, and doing it themselves, you do not want to be in a space that is painful to be in. You're just not going to be there. This is why this stuff matters. I talk about how consistency matters, which again, I'll talk about tomorrow when we're talking about taking breaks off social media. I talk about how consistency matters, but you can't be consistent in a strategy if the strategy that you're using is killing your soul. If the strategy that you're using is making you feel like shit, you can't do it. If the strategy that you're using is forcing you to be in places you don't want to be in, you need to create that space you want to be in. So I am not talking about ignoring the other stuff and ignoring the other people. And I actually believe that when it comes to healing, and there's an awful lot of trauma and an awful lot of healing that needs to go on that I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom the level of healing that is needed to really move forward as a human race. This isn't about that. And the reason I need to say that is because this is important to me, in healing that divide and listening to other people. We need to be able to listen and understand people who have different models of the world. So I am not advocating that we shut out people who think and feel different to us. Like Laura said with her sister, she doesn't shut out her sister. But in social media, when it comes to putting her content in that space, she needs a space where she feels safe. So it is a difference between putting your content out, between shutting the world out and curating a space where you can show up for your business. That is different. Now, if you choose to shut the world out as well, that's your choice, but it's about making informed decisions, not sleepwalking yourself into doom scrolling. That is different. And the other thing I want to say here as well, and this is my last point, when we unfollow someone, it is an invitation. It is an invitation for us to ask ourselves some questions. Let's go back to my point about being radically aware. It is an invitation to ask ourselves the question, what is triggering us? What is bothering us? Why is this person bothering us so much? So if, for example, it's the imposter syndrome, you're not going to get rid of that imposter syndrome just by unfollowing that person. It may make posting content easier and being on social media easier for your business, but it's not going to deal with we can't just hide these things. Again, this is not about hiding things. It is about managing your well-being on a daily basis so that you have the space to manage to do that other work. Something really interesting came to me recently. I talk a lot about the ripple effects of mission-led content, the ripple effect of the business owners on a mission, the people that need to hear your message and how that impacts on them and how that impacts on the people around them and how that impacts on the people around them. I mean, people that I can see here, Laura, Teresa, Nicola, I know the work that you do has massive ripple effects because of how you help people. But something just struck me the other day when I was like, the ripple effects don't just go out, they go in. Like mission-led content is a personal development journey because you take these opportunities to ask yourself, to do the work, to say, like, why does that bother me so much? So I often ask this question of my clients when I'm on coaching calls, and they'll say a problem they've got maybe with someone, or maybe they're not doing something, and whatever it is. And I'm like, without judgment, why? So we leave judgment at the door and we just say, what's going on? And sometimes what we might not even know straight away, but just asking the question is so valuable and important. So if something is bothering us, sometimes it's about them, like I don't want that person in my space. I don't want that, like those values or that ideology or that energy in my space. Fine. That's quite simple. No need to do digging deep and around that. That's just your decision. But if there is something that feels internal, then asking yourself without judgment, why is this bothering me, allows you to do that work. And I had some issue around jealousy. I've struggled with jealousy a lot. I don't know whether it's being an only child. We used to be in the centre of attention. My husband would say I still demand this. And so I would sometimes think, well, why? Like, I wish I could have what they had. I wish I could have that, have that figure or that hair or have that love or whatever it is that I felt that I didn't have, that feeling of like I'm without and that person has. And then going into the business world, of course, there's lots of that. So jealousy has always been something that I've struggled with. And so sometimes I have to check in with myself and question what's going on. And I started to, and this really, really helped me. Some of the people I checked in with, and it's like, I don't need to unfollow that person. Actually, that's not what I need to do. In this particular instance, this was just another journey that I was on at the time. I was like, when I see that person pop up on my feed, I'm going to take a deep breath, and I was doing the I always pronounce this wrong, but is it Ho'oponopono? Is that right? The Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness. And forgiving myself for feeling that feeling. And this was inspired by Denise Duffield Thomas, who was talking about, taking those opportunities for the forgiveness work and working out what's going on. Where's the root cause of that? Connecting the dots, tracing that back. Where does that come from? What's causing you to feel that way? And so sometimes with some of these people, it's actually an opportunity that they're giving you an opportunity to heal. Now, whether you need to unfollow them to heal at the time, or whether you just need to check in and be more radically aware of that, it's mission-led content just gives you the opportunity to ask those questions without judgment. Why? And if the answer is because I want to, because fuck them, because I don't, because that person doesn't need to be in my life or doesn't need to be on my feed, fine. But if there's something else going on for you, then take that as an invitation and ask yourself, okay, without judgment, why? Explore. And then what's my next step with this? Do I need to unfollow or block? Or what do I need to do now? What's my next step? Or do I need to do some forgiveness work? Anne Marie's just said, self-forgiveness is powerful as fuck. It's massive. And it's been huge for me since 2020 in my own personal development. I've really tried to explore that a lot because I felt I had loads of guilt going on in 2020 with everything that happened in 2020. And I had my biggest successful year. And I found that I remember my husband coming to me and telling me that Lisa Barry Online had earned 133 grand last year. And I just burst into tears. Like this, that was beyond my dream, beyond my goal that I set myself. And I burst into tears. I had so much guilt and forgiveness to do for the fact that other people were suffering and I wasn't. That didn't feel right. And so I had a lot of work to do on that self-forgiveness stuff there. But it permeates in lots of different areas. I question my triggers, and sometimes it's because I feel that others are giving their audience and clients so much more, and I feel self-doubt at what I do isn't enough. So the question is, what, without judgment, why you feel like you're not given enough. Why don't you feel like you're given enough? Like sometimes that's a story, and you can connect the dots back to a time when often it's in our childhood where we don't feel that we're enough. We feel like we have to keep giving. We don't feel accepted. And so it can come back to something like that, or it can be as simple, like it just can be as simple as like, maybe there are other things. It can be, I'm not saying it is with you, Teresa, because I know it isn't, but it can be, there can be where it's like the practical thing is, maybe there is an area where I could do something else. So this isn't about right or wrong. This isn't about there's one answer or there's this answer. It's not. I'm loving this. Emma left that group. Round of applause for Emma. High five, seal of approval. So I've just come off a kids camp. That's all I'm all kids camped up. Well done, Emma. That's amazing. And I'd love to hear, let me know in the comments, any people that you've blocked, unfollowed, any groups that you've left, any emails you've unsubscribed of, any husbands you might have left, anything like that. Let me know in the comments what you've done. And also, what others... because this second part of this video, we're talking about the deeper stuff and the ripple effects that go inwards. And this is what mission-led content is about. Mission-led content is the practical steps that we take. So we start off with the practical actions, the block and unfollow, but we do it with a radically aware and awake mind so that we can continue to learn and evolve and develop. And that is what brings us to creating a business, not just a marketing strategy, but a whole business that feels good and is aligned with us, rather than listening to our own wisdom. You already know everything you need to know. You can learn things about how to write a great opening line on a social media post, but you can't learn the things that your gut instinct and your soul already know. And nobody can teach you that. And all I do is hold space, provide the practical guidance and support, and then hold space for that personal development through content to develop, to grow. Teresa, yes, I do constantly think about how I can give more if I can. So I'm starting to add things and layers to my membership and my marketing. But yeah, so there's two layers to that. So it's understanding, is it a practical thing or is it a mental, emotional thing going on? Facebook user is late to the party, love a good snooze when I'm triggered for good energy management and then I work through the trigger. I'm guessing by that comment that is Michaela. And I'm guessing that this is also Michaela, because Michaela is so good. It better be Michaela now that I've said that. Michaela is so good. Michaela Leyland is one of my coaches, my only coach at the moment. No, I have two. And she's so good at this, at her language and using her language, that I knew exactly who she was by the fact that she put a tree and the fact she used the word energy management. And yes, it is Michaela. Lovely to see you here, Michaela. The beginning of it, I was really sweary and went on a rant. And now I'm like, chilled out a bit more now. Might because I'm slightly overheating and dehydrating because I didn't get a drink before I started. So that might be why. But the message is still there. I can still be sweary about this, even if we're talking about self-development. The point is, do the practical work with an open mind and allow your mind to unfold and give you the answers that you need from that. It's that constant sense of trial and error as well. Because like that coach that I blocked recently, at one point, that coach was exactly what I needed in my life, and now they're not. So it's not even, we develop and grow, and that is an amazing thing that we can be part of if we allow it. We don't stay stuck like, this is me, this is my identity. I am not who I was when I was in my 20s. I am not who I was 5 years ago. I'm not who I was a year ago. Quite frankly, I'm not who I was a week ago, because a week ago I went to a festival and I came back genuinely changed. It was incredible because I went with this heaviness and this exhaustion, which is why I planned this training. So I was like, this is what people need. I'm one of them. I need this myself right now. Just that remembering and that reminder of it. And actually what I discovered was a deeper remembering of me from years ago, and bringing that back into my life and remembering my core vision that's at the heart of what I want from life. And it's knowing what you want. Business isn't just about the money that you earn, but that money is amazing, because money actually, like when you're bringing in money, when you're bringing in finances, money is energy, and energy allows you, the energy you bring out, you can put out back into the world. You can support people, you can feed your family, you can elevate yourself. Like, money is nothing we need to avoid or be afraid of or think it's separate from living a good life. But it's not the only aspect, it's not the only element. And if we're only looking at the money element and we're not looking at our well-being at the center of our business, then you can make all the money in the world and you will feel like shit. So what is the fucking point? What is the point? So putting your well-being and your happiness at the center makes the money worthwhile. So when that energy comes to you, you can elevate. You can use that energy to elevate yourself and the people around you, and not feel like you just want to stay in bed lying on all your money. I energetically evolved from when I started my business, and working with you got me to verbalize that evolution. Yes, Michaela, I've loved working with Michaela over the years, one of the founding members of the MLC. The link to the MLC, I don't think it's a clickable link. I did put it in the comments. Let me try and see if that works. I don't know if that will work. It says I've only put it on YouTube, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, I can put it in the comments after, but that's the link to sign up to my program. Just PM me or message me if you want to have a chat about it. If you've got any questions, coaching, tutorials and feedback, 8-week course, 12-month support on coaching, unlimited feedback on your content, and the feedback within the, I just said that, feedback in your group, coaching, tutorials and feedback. If I knew my own course, I'd be dangerous. No, I do know it. I live it. I live my course. It's a huge part of my life. Self-care is the first pillar of success in Wood for the Trees coaching as well. Yeah, totally. This is what I find with the stuff that I, oh, there we go. Michaela, I can see the link. Fence sitters, sign up. You won't regret it. So I've got 9 places left. And we close on the 13th, one or the other. Right. For those people who want a social media strategy that works for them, loads of templates and training and support and guidance, I'm here. Those people that just want to do this free training, I'm here. Like, what, I meet you where you are. That's a huge part of my philosophy as well. Right, tomorrow we have another unexpected training coming out at 7, and then I'll be going live at 12. You know what? I won't. Oh, I have a secret tomorrow that I've just remembered. So I'm not going to say anything. But look out in the group at 12, because you'll see something interesting and unexpected, but I may have given you a clue. Anyway, I'll go now before I give any more away, because it's supposed to be unexpected and surprising, like I'm jumping out at you from behind pillar boxes or something. But I promise I won't give anyone heart attacks. It's not that sort of surprise. Right. Love you. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And remember, let me know what action you have taken today on blocking and unfollowing people. That would be amazing. Have a wonderful day. And remember, your mission is possible.